What's going on, everyone? Jeremy here from the Quartering, and it's been a rough day if you're watching the stock market. If you're here in the United States, the topic of inflation has been on the forefront of most news that cares about actual news. Not the not the people that have ignored everything with Justice Kavanaugh as if it didn't happen, but actual news people. And now we've got some brutal news for Netflix that even Stranger Things can't save them. And while it is a part of a larger trend, which in this case, in the market being down, Netflix has had a series of decisions that have led to this, and they're reaping essentially what they sowed. If we look at their past 5 days, they've lost 12% of their company's worth. In the last 6 months, 72%. 72% is absolutely insane to think about that. If you invested, if your shares were worth $100, they'd be worth $28 right now. Okay, I mean they started at $600 and plus dollars. It's down to $170 today. But even in the last 5 days, it's down 23%, 24%, and today it continues to plummet. And there's a lot of reasons for that. Obviously, the wider market is not doing well today, but also Netflix had made a commitment to bringing additional value to their paying customers that they just never did. And over the year or two here, since the lockdowns and the crazy highs that their stock saw, people have started to evaluate their spending, including streaming services. Look, if gas is costing everyone $40 more a month, $50 more a month, and by the way, that's like, a small number. There's certainly like people that drive more that it's costing more, but there are people that drive less, so it's less. But let's say it's $2 more a gallon, and if you're buying 20 gallons a week, that's $40 right there. And a lot of people are living paycheck to paycheck, or maybe month to month, and so an extra $240. I'm sorry, if it's $40 a week, $160 a month just to get back and forth to work, where you're probably not getting a offsetting raise amount. It's not a good position to be. So they're evaluating everything, and they're just dumping Netflix. And I think the market knows, too, that the quarter two numbers for Netflix are going to be far worse than they thought. Now, Netflix is trying to pretend like nothing's happening. Netflix setback won't slow down content, producers say. Netflix's cutback after subscriber losses sent the streamer's stock price tumbling down, and many have worried that some in the industry, that the content gold rush is ending. I hope so, by the way. Producers at the IPIQ panel, sponsored by Deadline and produced by Conference, said that there's no need to worry. Girl from Plainville and Dropout executive producer Liz Hanna, A&E Studios head boss Barry Jawson, and UTA partner, don't care about any of these people, so they don't anticipate any slowdown in streamers needing content. I haven't felt any let up whatsoever, which I think speaks to the demand being so high. There's a lot of musical chairs going on across the studio landscape, but it's going to settle out. The new incumbents have to build their new slates. We look at the opportunities to bring the artists we're representing into the lives and filling in the blank space. Now, certainly, this is, in my opinion, at the core of everything, the issue with content. Content is what is produced for people who just turn the TV on and want to just veg out. Look, I consume content too. And there's a lot of times I'll just throw on old, reruns of American Dad, or, rewatching, whatever. Last time I was watching another show on Warren Jeffs. This is not content I need in my life, but it was just there on the screen, so I clicked it. But in the end, that doesn't actually make me think about missing something. Like, oh no, whatever will I watch when I don't care what I'm watching? If you're just filling up like dead space, what a lot of people do is they're just putting the YouTube app, they use the YouTube app on their TV and they watch YouTube. Just like, the YouTube productions have come a long way. You're getting like 45-minute episodes from Mr. Beast that are highly produced. You can watch this kind of stuff. You can watch documentaries. You can watch almost anything, all for free. And you're not like supporting any woke ideology. Then Goldman Sachs on Friday downgraded their stock to a sell. Stock sinks lower on soaring inflation. Netflix pummeled by Goldman downgrade. Dismal monthly inflation data hit Friday with tech and internet and media taking a beating and Goldman Sachs slapping a rare sell rating on Netflix and a few others. The bank downgraded the streamer from neutral on economic and competitive jitters and cut its price target to $186 from $265, the lowest on the street. Now, right now, it's at $170. So it's even, it's even lower than that. It continues to sink down today. We have concerns around the impact of a consumer recession, as well as heightened levels of competition on demand trends, both in the form of gross ads and churn, margin expansions, and levels of content spend, said Goldman analyst. Netflix shares closed down 5% on Friday. That's a long way down from its 52-week high of $700. Year to date, it's lost almost 70% after missing on its subscriber numbers and outlook last quarter. Netflix is now a show-me story, Goldman said, citing rivals Disney and Amazon, whose stocks are being pummeled today amid the downdraft. Apple fell, NASDAQ fell, everything fell. And then even this article was written on Friday, and Monday, here we are on Monday. It's not much better. And, when you have this level of scrutiny around your app, having it down 70%, you see, sell Netflix stock, Goldman says, it has lost 2/3 of its value. Netflix, this is not a good look. I don't think Netflix will ever see these kind of insane, $700-800 price tags. I don't per share. I don't think that that's the case. This is, just in the last 3 or 4 weeks, we've seen some pretty obvious signals from Netflix. Netflix's message to employees and quote woke Hollywood's retreat. Amid the cultural melee over Netflix's decision to carry Dave Chappelle's blah, 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 when the higher-ups apologize for the way they've conveyed their company's policy, that's often a sign that their position on the underlying matter has not changed. That rule certainly holds true of Netflix. The memo includes a not very subtle message. If you can't work on shows you find objectionable, there's the door. We'll let viewers decide what's appropriate for them versus having Netflix censor specific artists or voices, reads the updated portion of Netflix's guidelines subtitled Artistic Expression. This is an email that I covered a couple weeks ago. Now, again, it goes on to continue. As employees, we support the principle that Netflix offers a diversity of stories, even if we find some titles counter our own personal values. Depending on your role, you may need to work on titles you perceive to be harmful. If you find it hard to support our content breadth, Netflix may not be the place for you. So much for, quote, woke Hollywood. Well, it does go both ways. So if you get, for every, triggering comedy special, you get 10, man has baby specials. So it does go both ways, but they're not saying this because they're making a ton of money. They're not saying this because things are going so good for them. It's not just one issue for Netflix. It's a multitude of issues, which I've talked about. It's not just the bad press around the twerking show they had. It's not just the bad press around having a handful of woke employees make your entire company look bad. It's not just the fact that many of people's favorite shows have been pulled from Netflix and gone to other services. It's really just the fact that Netflix has not put out enough good content to counteract all of this. And when you focus on pleasing, the weirdest 10% of society, this is what you get. Here's an article from the Washington Post. Netflix is showing the limits of woke capital. Possibly the most astonishing business development of the past decade has been the rise of what conservatives call woke capital, major corporations taking increasingly progressive stances on divisive issues. Progressives, of course, simply call it about dang time. Many explanations have been offered for this phenomenon, but the most compelling attributes it to educational polarization. With educated people moving leftward on social issues, companies must use their market power to agitate for the social justice causes that appeal to this desirable demographic. I don't think that that's true. And this is why you ended up here. People at the end of the day just want to be entertained. They just want to relax. They just want to watch TV. They don't want to be preached at. They don't want to be told that they're part of the problem in this country. They don't want to be told what to think, what to do. That's why do you think that trash TV is so popular? Why do you think so many people watch these housewife shows and the sister wives shows and all this stuff? Is because they're just whatever mindless entertainment, which is all people generally want. These people that are like, oh, I really deep dive for the newest wokest documentary. They're not subscribing to Netflix anyway. They're stealing your content, which is what they're finding out with password sharing and everything of that nature. So as Netflix stock continues to plummet, again, down 7% today, over 70% on the year, I'm looking forward to that continuing. I hope you enjoyed this video. We'll talk to you again real soon.